Good morning, everyone. Today is July 18th, and the time is actually 10:04 a.m. And this meeting is the Animal Control Board, hearing. I will begin by taking a roll call of all the board members. Councilor Edwards,
Present.
President Council, Board Johns, absent. Board, Laundry,
Present.
President, Officer Fleming.
Present.
And President, Officer Mosley.
Present.
Present, and Camilla Nelson, present. Excuse me. There are 11 items that are on the agenda this morning. There's 7 items that are, pardon, 11 items on the agenda for this morning. We will start by getting approval of the minutes for March 13 and May 2nd.
Make a motion. Second.
Thank you. The motion was made by Councilor Edgeworth, second by Councilor Clemens, and I'll need to do a roll call vote. Councilor Edgeworth,
Yes.
yes. Councilor Clemens,
Yes.
yes. Camille, yes. Megan Laundry,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what the motion was for.
for acceptance of the minutes for March 13 and May 2nd minutes.
No.
And absent, for Johns. Minutes approved. The first item on the agenda for this morning is a dangerous nuisance dog hearing for 2 dogs at 90 Ice Street owned by Harrison Bonner, manager, BC Mass Golden LLC, 183 Ice Street, Oakland. It was requested by Youth Education Success Academy.
Yeah, that one, he's not the owner. I just was able to get in contact with him. I sent him some case law, a letter that's basically said case law that asks the landlord to be responsible for the injuries that any dog does that, I'm saying that, yeah, like the property, but he's not the dog owner.
Okay,
So that could be, yeah, the address of the woman who lives there, but she was evicted. So if they want to put another petition, we could find the woman's address. And again, this person was not the owner of the dogs, it's just the landlord. But I did put my notice that if any dog, any of those 2 dogs, by anybody, he can be liable, but he's not the owner of the dogs. So he can be liable.
So we did this president, so should we hear from her or not?
If you'd like to give a brief description of what's going on, but again, she probably need the owners, the actual owners, not just the landlord of the property.
Sorry, if you put up with the minor.
yes. Thank you. I do apologize. Sit down, please. I get us back. Yeah, everyone that's here, John, will be testifying and raise your right hand, please. Do you swear? Excuse me. To tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so I'm talking about.
I have a question. When did the landlord say he evicted the tenant?
Gonna be evicted on yesterday, actually. So,
Oh,
it was just one pet, the other dog, she didn't know, he didn't know the owner of. The owner gave the name and that, the name of the owner, but she's evicted starting yesterday. I can get her name and going forward to the PJO, so that record, so once.
I only asked because I just saw her, Friday of last week, so, okay.
Yeah,
So
if you
yes,
see her, just let us know and I will get her, get this.
When you say let us know,
I'll let the board know, TJO.
And then no emailing or mailing?
Yeah, they'll be in contact.
Okay.
If you see them up in that same area again, then I'll make sure, the owner of the building is being truthful with the eviction of the person.
I think my final question is, so I understand that the landlord of the building is not the owner of the dog. But is there a way to require him to put in place that his tenants have to act responsibly, or they have to, walk around with the dog on a leash?
I mean, those are the laws that are in place, they have to follow the laws as written. It's like speed, you have the speed limit, but people are gonna go faster. And, like, same,
It's for her, could you just explain to her, somebody here, all dogs, their property, like their property, people, city of Springfield, there's a, we call it, as a dog park. So anytime a dog, your property, it's not leashed, you verify those.
yes, that's correct. Yeah.
That we all know that people who take your dog about have on the boys control. Many years ago, was that you only had to have a leash and have a dog under board control. That law was changed a few years ago, and it's now in the city of Springfield. Anytime your dog will come to your property, you need to have a leash.
I think my final statement is there are children all around that street. There are a lot of children that live on that street. And, a lot of the violations come out of that building, so. Right, thank you.
For coming.
Renee? You prepared the difference?
I would assume it's been covered, but basically the initial report, I didn't know who the complainant was because she did it under the school. So she did it under the school, but, basically there was a report of two separate dogs loose being walked off leash with their owners. And she had photographs of the two owners and the dogs. It's very clear that they're two separate dogs. And one owner was a female, the other was a male. So I asked Attorney Shuchuk to reach out. The building owner, because we weren't successful in identifying any of the dog owners. There's no dogs matching the descriptions to anyone in our licensing system or in our history. And until pretty recently, it sounds as though there was no real response from the landlord on any kind of, who the person might be. So I still don't have that information, but, I'm sure that I'll get it. So that if we want to her again, we can go proceedings if that is, what we need.
Should we make a motion? Thank you.
Let's make a motion to continue this case. Was his complaint, the woman still living in the area. But that's the hearing. So, yeah.
I make a motion.
I can't hear you guys. I'm sorry.
This was a motion to continue item number 1. And it was made by Councilor Edwards, second by Officer Clemens.
Okay.
I'll need to make a roll call on the motion.
Yes, no.
Councilor Edwards, yes. Officer Clemens,
Yes.
yes. Camille, yes. Will Johns. Wood absent. Wood Boundary.
Yes.
Motion to continue passed. Item number 2, we have a dangerous dog hearing on dog named Emmy at 1859 Roosevelt Avenue, owned by Amanda Lee Marshall, requested by Ashley Brennan. Is Brennan are you here? Okay.
Each one.
Gerald?
And, you know, you have the pictures that were recorded, the submitted videos.
Yes, they,
Okay, well, I, then your turns next, but if you put the pictures on the share screen. So I didn't see them. Well,
I think she just received them. Megan?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see the video, or were you able to view them yesterday?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this has been an ongoing issue. It looks like we first were getting calls starting in November regarding the complainant and the respondent own or live behind each other and have a shared fence. And the concern is the dog from the dog from 1859 Roosevelt Ave is frequently charging the fence, breaking through the fence, getting into the yard of the complainant. And she is not acting in a friendly manner when doing so. So some of the videos show, for those who haven't seen them, some of the videos show the dog just roaming through the yard. There is one where the complainant's dog is in the yard when the respondent's dog gets through the poorly maintained fence and charges into the yard, and it's clear that the dog owned by the complainants is not super certain as to what's happening. She kind of tries to run away and run around a little, and then they rush out to get their dog into the house. There's videos of the complainant's yard where the respondent's dog is in their yard. I can't tell in the video if it's defecating or urinating, but going to the bathroom basically maybe 10 feet from their back door. And it's a number of videos kind of showing the same thing. So this is a still image from the maybe you can see that, but this is a still image of that video where the dog is here and this is their driveway and a rug next to their back door. But you know, at first we weren't, every time we get there, the dog was not out, out in the yard anymore, but she's able to just come and go through the fence. But once they started sending videos, we were able to see clearly that the dog is getting out. So we did start sending citations. And you know, this is the picture of, I don't believe this is the current situation, but this is at one point what the fence looked like. That is still the current situation. So, you know, the fence isn't a secure way to keep the dog in the color. So, the
Yeah.
fence is not a secure way to see the dog in the backyard. It's not gonna keep her in their backyard in any manner because a person could easily walk through that gap. So most recent complaint that we received was on June 12th, where they sent a number of videos. They sent more through to the city clerk's office as well. And you know, it does appear that this is just an ongoing issue where the fence either needs to be repaired or the dog needs to be otherwise restrained to keep it in the yard. There was a report of a possible bite at one point, but we don't have a confirmation of that. But we definitely want to stop this before it gets to that. point. We want the dog. We don't want a dog biting another person or animal.
Thank you. Ms. Brennan?
I just, first, I just want to say, I don't have any intention of ill will towards them. I never wanted it to even get this far. We had an argument, and then after that, about a week later, we had like an hour and a half talk, and I thought we were gonna be able to come to a resolution. But that never happened, and that currently isn't the situation. Only after 8 months and only after they found out about the hearing. I bought my house back in August of 23, and I had the property appraised and whatnot, and that is their fence. And if it was mine, I would have fixed it. So they went out and bought 2 new fence panels, but what they're not understanding is not the pickets itself. The fence is falling down, so her husband just nailed the new one into that. So when I take all that yard work down, which I had to put up there because of the dog. So that is the current situation, and just to make this clear as well, my puppy is 7 months old. I had made 2 complaints prior to even owning my dog. So I don't know if that's an angle that she's gonna try and play. Where I had called because it chased my 12-year-old up to my back door. All I ever wanted was for the dog to just not come in my yard. That's all I ever wanted. We can leave each other alone. I just don't want my property, and that dog was defecating there. I picked up multiple groups from her dog. My dog has never aggressively barked at their children. My dog has never chased her up to her back door. My dog has not ruined any panel of that fence, any individual picket. My dog is on a line 90% of the time, and if it's not, it's in my backyard. And every time I do leave my yard, my dog is always on a leash. All I wanted was for the dog to just be controlled. I asked her about getting a line, and she said, well, my dog doesn't do lines, it chews through them. So I don't understand, this whole problem could have been resolved by buying a $15 line, or if they had just done buying those 2 panels of fences in the past 8 months, then it could have been resolved by that as well. The only issue that I have going forward is that when I take all my yard down, all the yard waste down from that fence, it will go back down to the ground. So with the new fence now attached to it on the other side, the only reason that that's even up by keeping their dog in there is because my fiance drilled a piece of wood on my side. So when they bought the new fence, they left their old one just in my yard currently like that, and then put the new one behind it. I don't want any of the pettiness. I can't do it. I have a lot of things going on. I don't even have a problem with her personally. I don't.
Yeah.
Just agree with her.
Yeah, like I don't, and I feel like we could get along, and I just, all I ask is that the dog just stay out of my yard and away from my child and my dog. That's all I ask.
Thank you. Before we get on to Amanda. We also have in attendance Renee Robichaud, and Heather Greenell and then Fernie Schuster. And everyone, testifying to have 10 minutes and 5 minutes to rebut. At the that's that. Do you have anything better?
No.
Thank you. Is there anyone else testifying or?
Oh, no, he's here just to watch.
Okay. Miss Amanda, please come on.
So the incident did start in November. She denied her property right around August. I was there for, I owned that property right for 4 years now. Previously, my dad was a previous owner. During the time in November, my dad did pass away.
Yeah, sorry, so I was not in the right state of mind to obviously handle the situation, and I'm having to deal with a lot of stuff. I do have 6 kids as well, so for this to be a dangerous thing, it would kind of like upset me because I would make a good job with my autistic daughter, because she did it as well. Yes, we got into it. I do have video proof of her literally pushing everything up against my fence line, and that's what caused it to begin with. I don't probably it wasn't like fully intact, but the more that she kept pushing the debris on, it even caused the fence to like fall over. The debris that she kept pushing onto the fence line because she was getting up like her stuff. It's totally understandable. Yes, my dog. That's how I used to get in her yard. I would try to get the dog back home. She's never really done anything. My dog's not a perfect dog. Like she lived around 6 kids. Like that should be honest with one. She was dangerous. I wouldn't allow her around my kid. My kids, I should say. And yeah, I did buy the fence. It was just I was going through a lot. Like I'm still dealing with grief of my dad. I have to run 5 other properties now because of my dad's passing. So my hands are really tied, and financially, because of all like financial things my dad left behind, I was neglectful in a sense because of the fact that I was dealing with a lot. And yes, I did buy the fence. You know, I didn't have a truck to actually put the fence on, and that was the biggest barrier. Then my brother-in-law was able to rent U-Haul, he was doing something for his thing, so I did ask him for to give me the fences, and he did put them in. So yes, my understanding of these is that it is reinforced. I didn't take out the old ones, so that way, when she continued to do that, if the old fence keeps breaking, that's fine, as long as my side is covered and she is safe and secure as well. We don't have no ill will. I do have like her entire fence line is broken. It's just not only my side, but it's the entire fence line that's always it has a lot of stuff. I do have pictures. I didn't know I was supposed to submit them beforehand. That was my error. I didn't put everything. I just see the dangerous hearing me. I got kind of upset with that, obviously, because I do have 6 kids. She was dangerous. Like I want to have a dog around my children. But that being said, we don't have no issues. Ever since I did like the fence or whatever, we don't have no issues. Like my dog doesn't go to the other fence. And it all started back in November because it was no, not they gave the fence and her husband, her boyfriend, I'm not sure what he is. Right? Because we had conversations. They did, and like he did like try to attack the dog with a shovel or whatever. And then from then it kept on going from she kept throwing her debris, which I had to do surveillance of, throwing her leaves, poking the dog with sticks, trying to get her like her head or because it was a little gap or whatever, so she would like poke it with the dog or whatever. So it was like she antagonized my dog, even though she said she didn't. Like I got video sometimes, yeah, it was a little not the best choice of words, so I can show you it, but there is gonna be profanity in it. Like I was very upset because I literally caught her in the act of over the leaves onto my property and debris. And you could see all the debris on my side, as well as I have videos or pictures of like her fence line, my fence line, what it looks like now. I don't know if I can submit that or get that to you to show you.
Yeah, if you want to show it to everybody, actually. Copy it, the video. Email it, print it out, send it to everybody, put it back in. Notes,
So this is like my current fence line.
you can show it around, just
And then
show it
if
to
you
everybody.
go in this way, you'll see like her side where the, well, she showed her side where all the debris is at, which you can see in those videos as well. I mean, those pictures, not like that.
It shows it again, so. she go to the screen.
Well, adjacent, I guess if everybody else is fence like hers, but she doesn't have it.
Can you see?
You can see the brand new fence that I
Is
did.
that the new one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't have pictures of the old one because I didn't know what was it. They kept threatening me for months and months and months and months, so they were going to work.
You can just email that to.
Yeah.
And we'll put it correctly there.
And then if you keep going, it'd be like her fence line broken.
You're gonna go to one, oh, send,
Oh, we got.
pass it down.
I didn't know this works, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And that's her fence line on the side, not on my side, but it's weird, so my backyard covers my backyard is huge, so it covers 2 properties or 4 properties. 2 of the back ones.
Can you see Megan?
Is that prior?
No, that's her entire fence line now. I took that yesterday.
That's her, fence line now.
The respondent or the complainant?
That fence is on a whole different side, that's
Yeah,
not.
Ma'am,
Just, you.
That's
you-
not
you get-
fair.
Stop, please, you get a chance to be. 5 minute rebuttal, so whatever you have, you comment on, you'll comment it.
are you good, Megan?
Yep.
Thank you.
And that's just for everybody. Anything you hear that you don't like, during the course of somebody's testimony, you'll get a rebuttal. But we don't allow interruption, it's not an exchange of opinion.
And then the video. My daughter sends it something, but I actually. But I ain't got that video post, I was living. So I got the same video. She was also taking the videos. You can email the paper, right? You just email it. Okay. And it just shows like her literally throwing the leaves.
Yeah, if you
All of that.
email, they get us to everybody as well, you can do that.
Yeah.
I was proud of that, that's why I emailed them, but I didn't. I was. Maybe. But like I said, we don't have no issues now, but we're like, where we died, so we have to about the situation, but we're maybe us, but. I ain't got no issue. No.
Yeah, that's about the same. This is CW.
Yes.
So, okay, is it actually? You have about 5 minutes to go that if you want, you don't,
Yeah.
I just.
Okay, thank you.
That's the end, right? Yeah, so. Then you'll have another 5.
Actually, I have 5 minutes to read, but
I don't even want to keep them. So the picture that she just showed you guys, cardboard fence, that isn't even, that has nothing to do with us and her. That doesn't even pertain her dog. That is for me and the neighbor on the right. And that fence has nothing to do with her dog getting in or out of my yard. So that is irrelevant to me. And second of all, she didn't buy those new 2 fence pieces till 2 weeks ago, until she got the notification for the hearing, which could have solved something 8 months ago. And third, I'd like to see the video of her dog being hit with a shovel, because I'm pretty sure if her dog was hit with a shovel, she would have had to take it to animal hospital, or she should have evidence of some sort of call. If I'm sure if my dog was hit with a shovel, I would be calling the police. So I'd love to see that video. And as far as the leaves getting thrown over the fence, I can show you a video of me doing the yard work, and I'm putting the leaves, all of that is being put against her fence because it was falling over and her dog was coming in the yard. I take pride in my yard. I don't want my yard to look like shit. I don't want all that there. But that is the only thing holding up the fence from her dog from getting in my yard. What you're going through, what you have been through, that shouldn't pertain to you being a responsible dog owner or not. I have seizures almost every day. I've lost people. That's not an excuse. If you can't be a responsible dog owner and restrain your dog, then don't own one. And as far as it being friendly with her 6 kids, that's fine. I know plenty of people with vicious dogs that are nice to their family and their children, but when it comes to any other person, they attack and they're barking and all that. So sure, it might be friendly to her family, it might be friendly to somebody that's knocking on the door and her owners are willingly letting in, maybe. But any video that I sent, if you watch that dog viciously breaking the fence and viciously trying to bite me. So everything she says just makes no sense. The evidence that she just showed you doesn't even pertain to the fence that's in question here.
thank you. 5 minutes, 45. Okay,
Let me see that. Yeah, but the sign is are the issue. I have another video of her pushing, or the video that I would ask to you guys, of her really throwing her debris into my yard. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff. I think, yep, totally understandable. I see what guys with her as well. I don't see the veteran, that's totally hands down. I don't know, I'm just like kind of, I at this point, because I don't know what else to say. I just feel like this is kind of all could have been avoided, yes. Totally understandable, but at the same token, I have single dealing with a lot of stuff. I have a lot of burdens on my hands and I'm trying to break through everything. And the fence, I think, was bought like a month ago, to be honest, and then I got a court hearing or whatever. I think I got a citation in the middle first, which is like, 2 hour citation in the middle. Renee O'Connor calling me, when she called them, to let them know that my dog was in her yard when I called my kids, and his dog was in the front yard with my kids, so it's like, then she called the cops on me for saying, doing bonfires or doing fires and smoke, roasting s'mores. I've had welfare checks come to my house.
This is for the dogs. outside.
Yeah, like,
Sorry.
sort of like harassment already, don't know what else to say, I just want this to end, I did my part. The dog is secure, the fence line is there, he ensured the fence line, so I don't know what else. to say.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, any recommendations to me here?
We can go to the board for the hearing.
That,
We can go to the board.
yeah, and that recommendation. Oh,
Definition of the area is now closed. TJO, what are your recommendations?
Either a secure fence or. Either a secure fence or a secure enclosure would probably be the two, one of the two options. Has it,
Seems this is a simple situation.
yeah, has it been rectified by the fence?
So,
sheeting?
so quickly, one time, with the options, if it is considered a nuisance or dangerous, it would be. One would be to humanely train the dog, two would be to let the dog be confined, the fence with the owner of the dog, confined, it means securely confined, or confined outdoors, securely, but it's not enter dog in an area. There's also, list the numbers, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 8 options that they're not as a catch-all, anything that's simple. So that's up to the committee.
Just something, this situation with like, it's not like. We can debate the definition of a dangerous dog. It's not even.
Yeah, that should be more of a nuisance.
Yeah, it's just simple, just
Yeah, but
fix the fence.
that
And
is,
behind the panel and not, you don't.
yes,
I'm not
I was just 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Really,
what would allow for us to have respectfully of the owner of the dog to put the fence in the proper way, which is to put a post in. And
Yeah.
then the fence has to be attached to the post. That keeps it from being falling over, whether somebody
Yes.
leans on it or not. It sounds like the installation of the fence, we can solve the problem.
And then usually we have PGO come to make sure it's secure.
Okay, so what would be the language that we could vote on to require that? By the situation.
Let me, find it. One moment.
That portion there it is.
Excuse me. Can I say something real quick? No, here it's closed. You have that.
Yeah, but you're about to make a ruling on something.
Yeah, it's a second one. Just so.
Yeah, but you're not understanding it. What I'm trying to say is if the debris gets moved, the fence is gonna fall.
I'm trying to say to you is you had an opportunity to speak on it. I understood and I clearly do understand. what I'm saying. So the point is that she solved it the proper way, that she was attached to a pole.
Yeah.
And put it to the ground, solves the problem. So please, and that goes to board. Cannot, you've had time, this is our time now. Thank you.
That'd be 110 section 5, 195. That, that one of the construction 2 weeks of the decision, securing closure to house a dog, is the yard. Advising here, that current construction period dog in the town and animal shelter provided at the hospital. Much. The effectiveness in securing closure shall be subject to the approval of periodic inspection of the animal control officer. That fees necessary, but fees that will be $75. Violates securing closure. The public account, the dog shall be dropped by the end of the day. $5 per day.
So the definition of an enclosure is, yeah, it would
So-
satisfy the RB.
Pure enclosure is a, I mean, which would be a kennel with a top and all of that. Separate from that, you can just choose to tell them that they have to repair their fence as the HPP their dog. It's very bad.
And that's that.
But pure enclosure, there's a definition that we include. So that they're gonna see what that literally means, because it's defined at the very beginning of women's. Whereas a, you know,
Yeah,
just fence
Yeah,
repair.
we don't need a closed enclosed kennel, but typically when we've done
Usually.
dangerous dogs hearings. So. I'd like to hear from other people on the committee, but thank you for all we're looking for is. The proper install, I request that the fence be properly installed, which requires, I know how to put a fence in. You have to dig a hole, you buy a post, which is usually a 4x4. And you put it into the ground and then it is attached to that will keep it falling over even and somebody leaning up against it. Just behind the panels and then attaching them to the 50 bed or just leaning them up together so that they sit in a certain way isn't acceptable. So
Actually, that'd be, 110(9), and the other order that is appropriate, just, basically what you said, stuff with the fence. But we, first
I'll make a motion that the dog be deemed a nuisance based on
testimony, videos, and all of that.
based on the evidence, testimony, and videos that have been presented. I make a motion that the dog be deemed a nuisance.
Second by.
Only one.
On the motion, Megan, did you hear the motion?
I think so. Was it to deem the dog a nuisance?
Yes,
Yes.
and the motion was made by, Councilor Edwards, second by Councilor Fleming.
Okay,
As a nuisance. The motion. Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor, Councilor Fleming.
Yeah.
Seven. For John's absent. For Laundry.
yes.
And Camille, yes. Motion. And on the. Condition to inform. on
Is
the-
that the fence be properly installed, something which requires it, and an department inspection within 2 weeks of the date of the hearing. You have to approve this installation of the fence to be properly done.
And if you want, fine, we can sound after securing the fence is supposed to be fixed within 2 weeks, you can do that, but that's not, you don't have to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, this was 70,000.
75 bucks is just the kennel inspection fee, which we usually don't do for just if we're looking at the fence. It would be kennel inspection fee is if we're doing a secure enclosure, because that's.
I'm not making no motion to for this.
Yep.
I just need an inspection so that we know this resolution and this,
Violation characters.
2 weeks should be a reasonable amount of time for this, because it's not fine, it's fine, you need one piece of wood. So, that's my motion. Camille, you got it?
So, no. So the motion on the table for Laundry, is for, the fence to be properly installed.
Correct.
And TJ will revisit and visit the location in 2 weeks. Did I
Yeah,
get that
approximately
correct?
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks.
Goes.
So I do a roll call
And then
Yeah,
I'll-
okay.
Thank you, Mel.
on the condition. Councilor Edwards,
Yes.
Councilor Fleming,
Yes.
Camille, yes, for Dunn's absent. For Laundry,
Yes,
condition approved.
You are the owner of the fence, the one which is responsible. Anybody's fence is the owner, belongs to the property owner. So the condition is that you have to have somebody. Hopefully get a 4x4, put it in the ground, and it's, you have to move it into the fence. That would be the fence removing, it makes your yard secure. That solves the problem. You know, and the dog been changing nuisance, you get 2 weeks to get that done, and then 2 weeks, they'll come back to your property, they're gonna check, make sure that the kid is bed, and then hopefully we have peace between the two neighbors.
Could you remove it at least?
We were about to finish the developer.
But that's the thing, like, the debris is on the fence, that's why I put the other fence in front of it, I can't get onto her side.
I need to respectfully ask me,
Yeah.
down, cooperate, the thing is, you guys,
We'll do it today.
you guys can
Get it done today.
this is just about the dog, I'm a bit, I injured, so I appreciate your patience. And I apologize to the phone, but this phone was down here and get through. And it's an emotional issue, your property, with the dog, and the land, and that's all we're asking. It's so easy to do it, detail, come back up, no lines, nothing. Then last week, actually, so thank you very much for your time. And I apologize. No, I hope that everybody is satisfied.
Item number 3, we have a new installed area for a dog named Mia at 64 California Avenue, owned by Peter Palucci, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, and it was requested by Ernie Piscopo. Going over here to the PJO. Sure.
So, this is a nuisance dog hearing for a dog named, we have pronounced Mia. Who is an older lab retriever type dog, residing at 64 California Avenue. We do have some history with Mia, and we were able to obtain photograph proof from the complainant regarding the dog being loose. So as far back as August of 22, we've been getting complaints about a dog who is frequently roaming the area of California Ave. For those who don't know, it is a small road off the right off of Allen Street near, I think it's now at Bill's liquor store, but it's pretty busy, even though the street itself is small, it is a very busy area. So we had complaints back in August, November and December of 22, where we did make contact with the owner and address the issue with the dog being loose. Then we had a bit of a lull, and it started back up with a new complainant in May of this year, where the dogs, being frequently loose. And so we got May 11th, May 14th, May 21st. All with photographic proof. June 2nd. Several citations were sent. And basically just some very clear photographs of a yellow lab type dog wandering around the neighborhood, including all the way up to this is Allen Street. That's the aforementioned liquor store. So she's making it close to really dangerous areas where she could be at risk, but not be sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And maybe the other one. This is her just kind of walking down the street. Sorry, it's really dark.
These are the ones that we have in the
Yeah.
packet? Okay,
So, he has received a number of citations for the dog being off operating. And. That's all we have.
Thank you, PJ. Something?
You have 10 minutes.
So the last date that I put in the complaint, since then I have not observed Althea coming the block or on the property. But prior to that date, everything that I did mention, it was an issue. It seems like it has gotten better. I do understand that Peter is aging, and prior to that, he did used to walk Mia, and it wasn't an issue. But I'm sure as he's getting older, it's harder to deal with Mia. I did notice, from driving up the street that he does have a fence, so I don't believe that to be the issue. I was confused as to why she was being allowed to walk herself. And I do want a small dog, and I am scared of big dogs. I don't believe Mia to be a dangerous dog. It's just I'm scared of big dogs.
You think
You have anything to say?
No, it's good.
Is there anything?
What would you do? Yeah, right here. Come on board, please.
You get 10 minutes to plead your case. Please. Well, you could have 10 minutes to they complain, which is the.
Which is true.
Which is.
Okay, so. All right, look, we're going, you tie her up. Well, I can, she doesn't bother anybody when the police officers tell people come over here. The dog's sitting in my front yard, she don't bother them. You want me to tie her up, whatever you guys wanna do, I'll do, you know what I mean?
Well, it should mention the ordinance for the dogs to be off property, off your property.
Right, let me, if I may.
Go on.
The law requires the dog any type of dog in property that has to be leashed, so that's, you committed to that, that's not the issue. I think what you understand, or what I hope that you could understand is that your dog can be friendly and do no harm to anybody. But anybody can scare a big dog, when they see your dog, they don't know that she's friendly, they just see the dog coming. So if they run and jump on somebody's car and do damage, that damage should be attributed to you today. If they twisted their ankles trying to run because they see a friendly big dog coming toward them, that would be attributable to you. So those are the types of things that you're responsible for any damage. If your dog goes off your property and is urinating on the same spot consistently and somebody has to receive their fine, that still comes under. So the burden is yours because you're the owner of the dog and you're responsible for anything that that dog does outside of your property. So we could put conditions that would require you to have your dog kept on your property legally, or we could probably just get you to understand, because it seems like she's being very reasonable, it has gotten better. But when you kind of affectionately said, do I have to tie her up? That's what you have to do. It would be inhumane to do it, but that's your responsibility, your duty to figure out how to get your dog on your property. Is that appropriate?
I shouldn't have said it better myself.
Getting better if he did. But, committee members.
She is
Yeah,
five.
5 minutes.
If you want the five, you want to take it. You want your five? No, okay, now.
I mean, this seems like this is more just a.
Yeah.
Information, we need a teaching moment, I don't think, this, and can I just be friendly? Are you willing to allow for us to continue, make a motion to continue this hearing? I think he has heard it, he understands. You said it in the last meeting, 2 weeks to stand better, and I assume that since, this hearing has happened, you have a better grasp of your responsibilities. And that is appealing to the two of you. I would ask the board would entertain a motion that we would continue this without declining, so that you and your neighbor would perhaps continue to live in peace with each other, now having a better, clearer understanding. You still have the right to call TJO and file another complaint. The dog is out again, but at this point, I think he has a better grasp. And he most of them are very reasonable people, and this, the purpose of our committee is just to solve problems, but not to be egregiously in process. So if that's agreeable to you, I would be willing to make a motion to the committee, if that be the will of the committee,
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
and you're both in agreement that I can do that?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll make a motion that we continue this item without finding.
Yeah, so if he's out by between now and August 15, just let us know, and you know, unfortunately, I'll back here on August 15, explain why dog's out, so again.
I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, basically, but the next hearing is August 15. So,
Back on 15.
no, if long as it's not out, if it's out within between now and then you can probably set a letter, that, you know, he's been out again, but as long as it sounds like everything's working well, so it should be. shouldn't be an issue.
And you understand that if you don't, if you see the dog out, you will be able to reach back out and we will continue and reopen the hearing.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you.
Well done.
Yes.
Well, let's just get a vote.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, pretty much.
Council-
Motion been made. I hear a second.
Second.
On the motion, Council Edwards,
Yes.
yes, Council Clement,
Yes.
yes, for Laundry,
Yes,
yes, Camille. For John's absent. Motion passes. Pass. Item number,
Thank you. Yes, I just said my dog did have a vaccination stuff. And rabies shots, I got, she's all hooked up, like by the bar, but.
It's placing it in the city, they may not be the most current copy of it, so if you wanna just. Call the office and say this is.
I got it right.
I
Shoot.
You guys can do that off. Let's get the next one. At all.
Alright,
item number 4, I have a dangerous dog for Romeo Vino at 43 Camden Street, owned by Wilson's Perez, requested by Robert Logan.
Either way, right?
Seems like John Barry, attorney, and I remember spent a long time. Also.
I'll be right back. All three of you come up. So, you see, it doesn't matter for it. You're upset.
So I said, do you believe that the board received? The photographs,
Yes.
Oh, yes,
so I just wanna, I'm not gonna pull them all up.
no.
Okay, perfect.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so, this is in regard to, this hearing specifically is in regard to a dog bite that occurred on May 7th. When the complainant's dog was being walked on leash and Dino was tied out and broke his tie out. The dog received some pretty extensive injuries. 7 bite wounds in total. And those are the photographs that I'm not gonna hold up, but those are the photographs that were sent. At the time, the dog was placed, Dino was placed on quarantine, and was. Part of the quarantine procedure is that the owners are advised the dogs must be leash walked and may not be left unsupervised outdoors. On the 14th, which was during the quarantine, we received another call that the dog was tied out unsupervised. But the owner did deny that. However, we have a photograph that was shared from May 12th at noon time, around noon time, where the dog was tied out unattended. And a second photograph that shows that the owner of the dog, carrying his dog back to his apartment the day of the attack, dragging the tether that had been used, where you can see that it is broken or really chewed through. We do have one prior incident with this dog where a neighbor was walking their small dog by the dog, and the neighbor themselves was there, not their dog. That was in September 19th of 2019. At the time, the owner did try to deny owning the dog, but it appears that it was proved by photographs that I don't have. Just reading off the notes from the officers, it was proved by a photograph that was indeed the dog. So this would be his potential second bite. And we received another call on June 15th of this year, where the complainant was concerned that the dog was still being left tied out unattended. And at that point, the owner did indicate that they are feeling that they're being harassed. And that's all the information.
Thank you. Anything else? Mr. Robert Levant?
Yeah.
You would have.
We could write their attorney speak on your behalf.
No, I.
Yes, I'll start. They 10 minutes. I would combine. They try to 10 minutes, then it'll be 10 minutes for the owner of the dog and a 5-minute rebuttal.
You can see that the dog resides in a brick row house. It's not a private residence. It's a series of apartments, and the backyard is an open common area for all the apartments. You can see that the dog is tethered on an unsuitable rope in the backyard. He does this for hours at a time, multiple days a week, multiple hours of the day and night. While he was supposed to be on confinement, the dog was out repeatedly, and we took a picture each time that this occurred. And he's continued to do this even after the incident occurred. Right after the incident occurred, he continued to leave his dog unattended. We were able to locate the owner of the apartments and got his phone number. And then we started reporting this unattended dog in the apartment complex yard to the owner. We then would contact him to, bring that dog in. It's a dangerous dog. You can't leave it unattended in a public apartment complex in a public area. Never showed any remorse for what happened to the dog. Never made any attempt to ask how our dog was doing, or make any restitution for the injuries to the dog, and has not changed his behavior at all since this occurred. And the dog is a danger to the neighborhood. And as you can see, we submitted a survey that we did of all the neighbors in our area. Those were people we didn't know. Those were people that came out of their apartments and their homes to help us when the attack occurred. They brought us water, rags, first aid kits, and they're all concerned that this dog continues to be in the area, in a public area, tied with a rope in a public area where the dog is known to be aggressive to other dogs or people that might be walking by, and the owner has done nothing to change his behavior in all this time.
If I may ask you to elaborate. Tell the panel what exactly happened with regard to this dog bite and which dogs.
Well, as the people they had, we were walking the two dogs on Chestnut Street. As we're walking up the street, we saw his dog in the backyard, and before we could even move, the dog was right on top of us. He attacked our larger male dog, Eddie, and as you can see in the pictures, he sustained severe wounds. There was a lot of blood. The police came, the police called an ambulance for our dog, and the ambulance people came and bandaged the dog up because we had to drive to West Hartford to Connecticut in order to get emergency care for the dog. The dog hospitalized overnight.
Thank you.
So. And are you counting both parties here?
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to. Ken, would you explain what happened under your.
So when we my name Tan Nguyen on the Brisbane book, I have my name on it. So we walked up. He had one dog. He walked with Eddie. That's the one that attacked. That's the one dog been attacked. And I walked with his mother and then David on it. We walked up on Chestnut Street. So the building you see in the picture, that corner of Mountain and Chestnut Street. The second, I don't know, the dog broke to the rock or tied to something or not. I don't know. The second I heard the dog already on Eddie because we tried move from the sidewalk to another sidewalk, the street, to run away from the dog. And the dog, and right in the middle of the street, my dog been attacked right in the middle of the street, and the blood non-stop, bleeding non-stop. I put my hand right underneath on the right leg right here. It doesn't you don't want to see him. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, where did you take the dog? Where did you take your injured dog?
To
DCA.
to the VCA Animal Hospital in West Hartford. And you see on the copy that one.
Is that an emergency visit?
Yes, that emergency visit, yes.
Okay, have you submitted the bill to the panel?
Yes, they have the bill. Yes.
And how much did it cost you?
So the BCA is, you can see 1,073.45, and the net, the debt after that, we have to go back to regular bed with Animal Hospital on Boston Road, Wilbraham, and it costs another 89.90. And meanwhile, I have to bring the dog back and forth every day for them to check up because the wound, the bleeding non-stop, and you can see the tooth in there. They did one measuring to drain, measure no infection or anything. I'm not a vet, but I have to bring back and forth. So meanwhile, we had to take the time off between us, basically 24/7 to watch the dog because we have to put it up on the floor.
Okay, who owns Eddie? Whose dog is that?
It's my dog.
Okay, and who's Daisy? Who owns Daisy?
But technically, we all, I don't know how to explain, we all bought out, so, yeah.
Thank you.
The owner of the dog.
Good morning.
You have to.
All right, so on the incident that day occurred, I was grilling, the leash, it was a leash, it was not a rope, it was a hiking leash, which is a little extended further along. I do have another leash towards my kitchen where my back doors and stuff like that. I went to go, I was doing grill, I went out to work and I went to go grab something. I did have my dog on the leash, he was inside. Literally like 2 seconds, he broke off. I do admit to that. I admit to the injuries and stuff like that. As far as reaching out to these guys, freaking, I felt like they were antagonizing me and harassing me because all they do is just walk around my neighborhood and just shake their dog towards my dog. You know what I mean? Like I have no ill will towards them. I tried to like approach them as men and stuff like that, but I really couldn't get a response from them. They walked by me numerous times. As easy as I could have reached out to them, they could have reached out to me. I take full responsibility. The second incident, there was another pit bull that was similar to mine. That wasn't my dog, where people are reporting and saying that was my dog because they look similar in size and spots and stuff like that. I have no problem paying the medical bills again. It's my responsibility with my dog, you know what I mean? I do have photos, I do have injuries, photos that my landlord, that they sent my landlord as minimum injury. They look like a rash. So two, I have the photo of two in the dog and just the rash. And the injuries that my dog sustained, which I didn't, negligence on my part again. I didn't go to, the vet or anything like that because, Thomas J told me to quarantine. The pictures that they took on my property, there's like a little fence and there's a step. When I took my dog out, I have diabetes, so my legs messed up at certain times. I do have a harness, and I do have a double leash when I walk them. To avoid any confrontation or anything like that, I do alternate routes on walking my dog. I don't walk them towards their property to avoid anything. I know the citizens are encouraged, be good neighbors. They do it further down the road. You know what I mean? I think they make it a point just to go to my property to see if I'm not there when I'm right there because due to the angle, because I have pictures from my landlord that they sent to my landlord. You can't see me behind the little fence that I have, but I'm right there. My landlord pops up numerous times unannounced. I'm constantly there with my dog, watching my dog while I take my dog out. Again, I take full responsibility. I am a proud dog owner. I think I'm very responsible. Certain situations, certain instances, stuff like this happens. He is pretty tough. He is pretty strong. I do have an autistic kid. He's great with kids. He's great with children. And it just happens, sir, folks.
Thank you, Mr. Perez.
Is the dog licensed?
Not as when I text most recently, I did not have.
We did check, before the hearing, just a couple days before, and the dog is not licensed. He's saying he's a responsible dog owner, but the dog isn't licensed. Again, if you look at the pictures from the date of the incident and you look at the rope, and that's how he described it at the time of the incident. He didn't describe it any type of leash of any kind. He described it in the report as a rope. And that is not how you restrain a dog. And you can even look at the length of the rope, where the dog is tied behind his house. That's not a fence, tied behind his house in a public area on a very short rope for hours at a time. And we can see a portion of that property from our property. So we're not a far distance from his house. We can see the brick row houses. Chestnut Street is a very short street. And from Worcester to Hamden is not even a quarter of a mile. So we're not walking our dog from far distance to his house. There are houses in front of our house, and it's less than a quarter of a mile. Want to add anything, Tom? Sir? Yeah.
From where the Hebrew side, you cannot see my property. There's leaves, there's stuff like that. And I can show you a picture of the little fences that I'm talking about when they did take a picture and they sent it to my landlord. On where, like I just stated, the dog's on leash. I'm behind the little fence area that divides your property. And I'm right there behind watching my dog take my coffee, smoking cigarettes there. I do have pictures of injuries of my dog if you guys would like to see that as well. At this point, I'm pretty sure it doesn't make a difference. I'm gonna be found at fault, but that's completely fine. Again, I take full responsibility, sir. Negligence on my part.
I'll make a motion to hold that hearing.
Give me a second. That pushes the meter. Yes.
Thank you.
I just wanted to point out in case anyone is confused, there are two Chestnut Streets within the city of Springfield. Okay, just that, when they're saying that Chestnut Street is a very small street, The Chestnut Street in Orchard is a very small street. Chestnut Street in Springfield is a very large street. They live in.
Yeah, it was like Main Street, in Springfield.
Right, yeah. Just wanted to make sure people knew, you know, like the board members knew that it was. In case you're like, what do you mean small street? Chestnut Street's like, so, it is a very small street in Indian Orchard.
Yeah, what are your recommendations?
I don't know how realistic my recommendations would be. But I would probably push for a secure enclosure if the landlord will allow that on the property.
It's, you can't, it's not, they don't own the property.
Right, so it has to be.
One, maybe restrained or that the dog is. References, that's number 3, that. That's the thing, but-
I mean, I don't like,
Yeah.
you're right.
So, if you look at section 110-10. B, 1, 3. Just because you did do part to require someone to construct a fence or some closure, and it's not their property,
It's not good.
you know, it's not a listing. 1 and 3, and there are also other options for us to open at 9 is get catch all. So anything that anything appropriate necessary to protect the public is what is dog.
The CGL wanted to be appropriate.
Mother restrained.
Yes.
Yeah, but I would encourage you to discuss with your landlord if he lets you get a kennel, let your dog.
I would have, kind of have to put it up there.
Okay, just that way you would be able to feed a dog too.
Yeah.
Some landlords won't allow that because of it's shared property and the
He loves my dogs.
permanent enclosure.
That's what you made. So your recommendation is in fact with the kennel.
That's
I'm asking TJ,
Yeah,
is
I
that
mean-
big? If he's, I mean, the thing is, normally, if it was his private property, I would be entertaining a motion probably for the kennel.
Yeah.
I would not, we need to do it, be that restrictive, is, well, the committee, but it's your recommendation, and I think.
In an ideal world, it would be the kennel, in a realistic world, minimally a basket muzzle. When outdoors and securely tethered or leash to the person. And
One, 3,
1 and 3, yeah.
and then section 9 would be the catch-all,
Yeah, there's anything else. But it's order.
and in that catch-all, you would recommend anything particular?
just, like I said, I would recommend that he explore the kennel. Just so that the dog's not always stuck on, it's hard for a dog to be on a leash when they live in a neighborhood like that all the time. So, you know, just allowing him to still be a dog, a kennel would be the same for them.
I'd like to hear if it's appropriate. Megan, could you chime in with your thoughts, recommendations, please?
Could you just say that a little bit louder, Melvin? I'm sorry. I'm having a really hard time hearing everybody.
If you could, I'd like to, TGL's kind of suggested that we do, one section, item 1 and 3, and number 9 is a catch-all. Do you have any recommendations, that, before I'd like you to take a motion, but I was wondering if you had any objections to what has been suggested by TGL.
No, I agree with what they suggested.
Okay. Officer Fleming.
So, yes.
Oh, yes.
He definitely, you need to get a dog license for your dog.
All that good
Is he
stuff.
neutered?
He is not neutered.
He's not.
He is not.
Would that help? He's an older male now, so I probably.
I would assume that he probably sat in his face. It's not gonna hurt, but I don't know that it's going to help, because he's not a young dog.
So it's, he's not a puppy, so.
He's kind of starting.
What's that?
He's 10 years old.
He's 10, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So that might not even do it at that age, not a large street dog.
Could've got me. Maybe.
Screwing and you punish.
Yeah. Okay, if there's no objections from the committee, I'll make a motion that we, that we do ask for section 1, and 3, and number 9 would be the, recommendation of the county.
He's gonna do.
And that he's licensed.
You need to smoke your weed, you're ready to go.
Oh, okay, so
And
I'll make a motion first that the dog is being dangerous.
That's something.
And we have to state why we're leaving the dog dangerous.
Yeah, so that's for dangerous 70, section 1, if the action of the animal. Or a person, that could be 110-1 under the dangerous definition. Would be A, about justification attack of a person investigating it will cause a physical injury or death, so that would be. Dangerous states on 1-10-1A of the definition of dangerous dogs. And we see the rest of the documentation provided to. Yeah, yes.
Megan,
Yes,
so the board has, Councilor Edwards made a motion to deem the dog as dangerous, seconded by Councilor Fleming. And the reason is based off of 110-1, section A, and the reason being documentation and the medical bill.
yes,
Dog bite. Okay, on the motion to deem the dog dangerous. Councilor Edwards,
Yes.
Councilor Fleming,
Yes.
Camille, yes. Board Laundry
yes,
and Board John's absent. And the condition will be chapter is 110,
And
1,
3,
3,
9, the recommendation for. And it's term closure, but it's. Not his property. So getting ordered.
We can only recommend it, we haven't properly built the liver, it's not.
Just go with the order. Okay.
yeah. No recommendation. Did you hear that, Board John, Board Laundry? The
I'm sorry,
the
I didn't hear the last part.
It was 110-10, 1 and 3, and 9 recommendation to get a kind of,
Yes.
Doesn't have the property.
yeah, because he's not the property owner. On conditions, I need a motion.
Motion. So made.
I second the motion. And roll call, Councilor Edwards,
Yes.
yes, Councilor Fleming,
Yes.
yes, Camille, yes, Board Laundry,
Yes,
yes, Board John's absent. Conditions. Passed. Mr. Wilhelmsen, Mr. Paris?
Yeah. It's gonna be a clarity. I believe the moment.
Yeah, trustee Joyce.
Yeah.
Please. I'm not sure. So the board has deemed the dog dangerous. That's chapter 110-1 of the state ordinance, section A. And the condition we are voted on is again, chapter 110-10, 1 and 3, and 9, being the recommendation of the kennel, being that you're not the owner of the property.
Yeah.
You understand?
So when you when you get the muzzle, you want a basket muzzle, that's gonna allow them to still bark, can't drink. You know, you can still fully be active, but it'll take away that option from them. So you just kind of start trying to work with them on trying to get used to that immediately. It is a bit of a learning curve, they don't like it initially. And if you want advice or recommendations, you can reach out to the office and
Oh, definitely.
we can certainly see if it's a good fit or whatever. You know, we'll come out and check it for you so that, you know that it's a good match. we might need to special order it if he's a bigger dog. But I would start probably at like a Petco or Smith Woods to see if they have something that.
And you know now that dog has to be on these proper leash. And there is limitations on the time the dog can be used outside.
It can only be tethered total 5 hours in the city for the whole day. At 5 hours, it's 24-hour period.
So we want to understand, we appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Any sort of copies or anything to pick up?
You'll get a notification in the mail that has everything detailed.
And that makes all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day, folks. Appreciate it.
Item number 5, we have a dangerous dog hearing with 2 dogs at 373 Orange Street, owned by Postio Maldonado and was controlled.
Let's take it out of order, so just have to leave right now.
Why don't we take it out of, why don't you do this one next?
We can do it now.
They're not fair, they're quick. Yeah.
If we can hear it, even if they're not here.
Yeah.
It's up to you. We can write it.
You can hear it.
Okay, where are you?
One,
Okay, your name is? All right, please have a seat.
Now, the only, just so you guys know, the only really thing you don't show up is if you under bills. If they're on the dog, there's a hearing in front of the advisory review committee, or the dogs, if they're dogs should be counted and looked at as either found dog or.
This is a follow-up from a previous.
Is there an objection to take, item number 1 from the revisited list out of order? None? Okay,
Is there any objection to allow her to take this order?
Sorry, thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
This will be very positive.
Okay.
so so this order is the dangerous dog hearing for 5 dogs at 101 50th Street, owned by Kimberly Tooth. And it's the follow-up to make sure the conditions are in place. And this meeting, previous meeting was from the last May meeting. May 2nd meeting.
Detail.
Alright, on May 2nd, all the dogs in the residence were deemed a nuisance and ordered to be spayed and neutered. And the owner was ordered to, I don't know if they crazy, but install fencing that allows the plaintiff to come and go to her entry unobstructed without being accosted by the dogs, following an incident where the dogs charged at her and her children as they were trying to enter their home. As of July 8th, which was our second visit to the home, we have no proof that any such fence has been installed. We have no proof that Silver, Holy, or King have been spayed or neutered. One appointment card was emailed to me from Kimberly, indicating that King, who needed a special surgery, it has an appointment on July 23rd. When I inquired with the vet's office as to what that meant, they didn't have an answer. So I don't know why his surgery is special from any other neuters. Nico, a dog, is spayed in Dog Tracker, and currently only Nico and King are licensed, and that was as of this morning.
Were they wanting to be licensed in that?
They were not ordered to be licensed. She can't license all of her dogs because she has too many, because they're not all spayed and neutered yet, so I was gonna work on licensing once they were all spayed and neutered, but they're not.
You're allowed to agree unless there's.
Free unless we're all spayed and neutered.
So she loves one more.
That she could license.
She could have licensed one more, and
She's too over the limit
Yeah.
right now.
she's right now.
But that would be one at all, so they're all great, correct? So there's still one over the 4.
And for whatever this,
If they're all food, if they're.
Yeah, 2 dogs over the limit as it
Yeah,
stands right now.
yes, yes.
But she had 1 over it if you're counting.
Yes,
it as
okay, yes, I just wanted that to be, okay, perfect.
and as of the most recent visit where an officer was actually able to make contact. Kimberly indicates that she has not done the fencing update due to her belief that her dogs are not safe in the yard as she feels her neighbor has spread poison all over her property. She requests that we come and test her property for said poison. She was informed that that is not a service that we provide. So I'm assuming that they continue to just be out whenever they want.
I would, first like to say she was given 2 weeks to put up a fence.
Yeah.
She had 2 months. Yesterday, she got our neighbor to put up a makeshift fence that is not held up at all. I mean, I could just touch it and the fence will fall over. She doesn't care, about her dogs. She did have 5. She was told when the police came out and animal control first came out, she had to get rid of 2 dogs. She did not. She has 4 now. Again, they were not licensed during the incident. Some of them were not up to date with their shots during the incident. Multiple follow-ups were done by TJO. They did nothing. I've had 1 conversation with Kimberly since. She was mad at me. She said she doesn't know why the fence was necessary. I said it's very necessary. I have children. These 5 dogs attacked me and my son. Whether they want to say it was playful, it wasn't playful for me. We don't know these dogs. It was playful for them, not for us. My son has autism. He's scared to go outside. I have to coach my son every morning to get him outside because he's like, dogs, he's barking. He's uncomfortable. Again, they put up a fence last night. I took a couple pictures. The fence is barely anything.
Because they weren't there when we went. Yeah, I had mapped her. As comfortable as she was, look in the yard, but she didn't want to obviously enter the yard, but she could see that there was no fence keeping the dogs from.
So this is
Can
one
you just say your
picture.
name again for the record?
Yes, my name is Shadell, Shadel. Last name is Reed, REID.
Thank you.
Could you just email those to,
And just, if you mind passing out for all the numbers to see.
Yes, so this
and then we'll put
is what it looked like as of yesterday.
Stickers are coming next.
You have comments?
Just like she shows.
Yeah.
Can you see Megan?
Oh, geez.
It's like held up.
It went black.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Can you see?
Yeah.
Alright, so, yeah, we all.
Can you tell from the pictures if that's secured to the posts?
Looking at the pictures, it would appear that the posts appear to be in concrete possibly, but that the fence itself is held up by that recycling bin.
Oh,
Which also, there's a gap, the dogs could just walk through the gap
Right.
of the fence.
So I spoke with my neighbor and, I've been living there longer than Kimberly. I've been there for 3 years. She purchased the home from my child's father. He sold it to her. So I spoke with our neighbor. I know him for a long time. And I said, well, I hope you're putting this fence up properly and it can pass inspection. He said, yeah, yes. This was yesterday. So. You would like to?
No, take a picture of the email address.
Okay, okay.
I did receive, a message from one of the staff downstairs that she left a message that she would be able to attend today's meeting and that she sent, Renee, thank you, I'm trying to treat her, paperwork. But I reached out to Renee and,
And I sent you the,
yeah. it
the
was-
whole email, it is literally just an appointment card, I can bring it up if I.
can we close that portion of there?
Yes.
I was going to say, she needs to go.
Yeah,
thank
Let's get it over.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion, we close this portion of the hearing. TGO, you have any recommendations? Also, back in
The only thing you can do is either, impound. That's the thing you should go up.
Empower.
Yep.
This person is pushing up the hearing.
Excuse me, would that be for all dogs or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Well, we have.
Yeah, they're at their.
So, I'm sorry, I got.
That's okay.
So, trying to get you out of.
No, I understand, thank you.
So that's supposed to be pushing up the hearing, so if you're like, you can leave because I went to the. So.
I would just like to hear the finding.
Oh, okay, sure, I'm sorry. And TJO, what are your recommendations, please?
I mean, I don't.
I'm ready to adjourn.
Yeah, I don't know where, I've never had one where this is what we're. This is a real one.
Yeah.
That means-
He said we could impound, my intention is to vote for or to make a motion at the appropriate time for an impoundment of the dog, all of them. The lack of cooperation
That's
is
based on the, her failure to appear.
yes. So, whatever words we do after
As long as she-
the hearing, vote on whatever you need to do for me.
And she responded, so she did receive notice, so.
Oh, and yeah, and it was delivered on the second, so she could have responded, she could have. Reached out well within the 48 hours that she.
Are we,
And then, please.
are we ready?
Yeah, well, that's what I was asking.
Are we ready to take a motion?
Yes,
Then I-
board laundry?
Yes,
Okay, you can hear it.
Okay, so I make a motion that the dogs be impounded. And that's based on
110. And the 7, that the owner of the dog failed to appear at a hearing in front of the advisory hearing committee, the dog is declared dangerous. Dog is not impounded or. But impounded is,
it's the impound.
yeah,
They were initially only being used.
also we would have to, clear them as dangerous.
So I make a motion that the dogs be taken interest.
Second.
And the motion to name the dogs at 110 Quincy Street, Councilor Edwards,
Yes.
Councilor Clement,
Yes.
Camille also yes. Board laundry,
yes,
yes, board John's absent. Dog is deemed dangerous, passed,
And
and then the condition,
I make a motion that the dogs be impounded.
Based on the previous testimony from the previous meeting. And that's. And the fact that they did not appear.
okay? And it,
Yes.
for laundry, there's a motion on the floor to be, the dog to be impounded, and it was seconded by, Officer Fleming. Councilor Edwards,
Yes.
yes, Officer Fleming,
Yes.
yes, board laundry,
yes,
yes, Camille. Yes, board John, absent. Condition, approved.
Thank you.
That's okay, I'll back it up and tell them.
Okay.
I have here item number 5, it's a dangerous dog hearing for 2 dogs at 373 Orange Street owned by Pasio Maldonado, and it was requested by Michael Torres.
Are you here?
No, he had requested to have this hearing be rescheduled to the next hearing. Yeah.
I don't know.
5. And also number 7. Yeah.
Yeah, are you coming here for 5 and stuff? Is that here?
Here for 192 Hartford Ave.
Okay, so then I'll make a motion that the hearing of this, that we set.
Okay.
Since for.
5 and 7.
5 and 7.
Sorry, you can check. I had been required by, I had to have the, either the plaintiff or the defendant, that had the hearing.
Reschedule.
Okay, it's good. I mean, that's. We don't. I gotta make it. Hey, I'm special.
No, also there.
5 and 7. Yeah, 5 and 7 together.
Yeah, okay, I guess.
I can do that, okay.
So they're okay, do we need a motion to reach the acceptance?
Do we need the motion or reading it is fine? For the reset.
To receive. I'm sorry, I'm confused, what, I went out the hall.
5 and 7, it's been a request to those be rescheduled,
Okay, is everyone?
and nobody is here.
Oh, no, see, okay, then yes, that's.
So no motion, anything.
No, you just move it to August 15th, that's the next.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 6 is Orange Street.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Harkness.
Apartment.
Harkness, you playing?
Yes.
Please.
I have a dangerous dog ear for dog named Abby at 192 Artless Avenue, owned by Mark Toronto, and was requested by Julian Alexander.
And defendants here?
They're not here.
Okay. Then we need to move forward.
Okay, detail. Number 6.
Happy. German Shepherd. Residing at 192 Parkman Avenue. This is being called by Ms. Alexander for an incident that happened on May 3rd, where Abby was loose and bit Ms. Alexander's dog Hershey. At the time, Mr. Turin did come by to clean his dog, and the home quarantine was issued for the bite. We believe very strongly that this is Abby's second bite to a dog. We received an incident report in March 6th of this year as well, that a dog named Coach, owned by a neighbor, was bit by Abby. And while the owner of Abby did not respond to the efforts by our officers to contact him, the owner of the victim dog was adamant that it was a German Shepherd and that she resided in that residence. So we believe this is the second bite, so it was not ever fully confirmed. And Mr. Toronto did receive his certified mail on July 5th.
I was asked by TJO to file for a dangerous dog hearing, as this is a second dog attack. I have an 86-pound pit bull, and this dog got on top of my 86-pound pit bull. Most of his wounds, all of his wounds were superficial. He should have had stitches in one area at the back of his head, but he wouldn't go down with the medication. So I just asked them to let it heal. It's healed, other than the vet bills that I have and the concern for safety of not only Abby, as it's a main street, but also individuals walking by or animals walking by. When I did call Springfield Police Department, they had to contact PJL. And when we went back to the house altogether, Abby was not on the property, she took off. So now you have this dog who has been known to bite not only animals, but I heard that's a human as well, is roaming the neighborhood. And that's concerning.
Thank you.
Thank you. And there's no. So I'll make a motion to close that portion of the hearing.
That was that for the hearing. PJ, what are your recommendations?
Well, yeah, that's only because it's only, actually 7 pound. It's gonna show up.
Your recommendations,
That'd be being dangerous first again.
please make sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Impound.
Okay, so, I made, make a motion that we deem this dog dangerous based on Trish's recommendation.
That's the proper person, 110A, of the definition of dangerous dogs. And, based on the testimony of, I'm sorry,
Joey.
And did you submit any, did you submit any other, documentation?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just wanted, I feel bad for Abby. I do know that she was ordered to remain on quarantine. Does anybody know if Mark followed through with that? Am I allowed to know that?
So the quarantine's only 10 days, and we wouldn't know if he didn't comply, but, she was alive and well at the end of her quarantine period. But like I said, if you didn't see her roaming loose or no one else called letting us know she was loose, we wouldn't know. But we did not receive any calls, to the big dog, so I think that was good. Okay.
Being dog dangerous.
Yes.
Roll call vote, Beaman, the dog is dangerous, Council Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Officer Fleming.
Yes.
Yes, Camille. Yes, Fort Laundry.
For dangerous?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Fort John's absent. And this is from 110-1A and reason being based on testimony. Am I correct, attention to it? But the dog that's dangerous.
Yes, and was there anything you submitted for them?
He did, it's a bit of
Oh,
officer, I believe Officer Landry,
Off the lot, and she come to the.
I have all of my documentation from bringing, I did have to bring to Vetch Deerfield.
Was that the information?
No, it was included.
Oh, it's included in the packet then, based on what was included in the packet, all that.
Okay.
I think it's down in Springfield.
Yeah, so
You're the new one, but it wasn't open yet.
Yes,
They were
that's.
open, but they said they didn't have any staff to handle my big dog, so they sent me to.
Well, I'll make the motion that, since the dog is, not dangerous, I'll make a motion that the dog is impounded.
And then, a reimbursement for my vet bill, I was told not to approach.
That's.
Well, that's a simple matter. You can
Okay.
hire an attorney.
You can call me.
Okay.
They'll be,
Their attorney needs documentation and,
Yeah.
requests
Then
from
that's-
the city here.
Okay.
yeah, they'll be all this information in, Carter case. They present. Very familiar with that process.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I was told.
No, you don't, no, you're trying to get, as to the, and, so the issue, and that's, we should provide the evidence that occupies the meeting.
Okay. All right, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Motion made by Councilor Edwards for the dog to be impounded and was seconded by Officer Fleming. Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Officer Fleming.
Yes.
Yes, Camille. Yes, Fort Laundry.
Yes.
Yes, Fort John's absent. Motion approved. I have here. What's that?
There's something else.
I have here on the non-compliance. And one nuisance dog hearing for dog named Eight and Cody at 270
27.
27, thank you. Hickory Street owned by Francesca Garcia, and this was requested by the TJO non-compliance.
Is it the other thing that's?
So. In an interesting turn of events, this was the only certified letter that was lost in transit.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll just
Yeah.
get them notice for the next August 15th.
And then final.
Another for non-compliance, dangerous dog hearing for dog named Scooby at 460 Cannon Circle. Owned by Trista Lozada, and this was also requested by TJO.
So that notice was delivered on July 1st. I did not ever receive the physical proof that the dog was loose. But we did receive 2 complaints that the dog was loose in May. After being deemed dangerous last May.
But I don't get that notice for others.
Like I said, I haven't received any physical proof either, so I wasn't sure.
Otherwise, you're kind of hand shown
Right.
7, the option of.
Reschedule this one as well.
Those are the dogs that just get out all the time.
Ace and Cody are the first one that.
Okay, sorry, I got it.
Those two get out, yeah, literally everyone in the city. knows who the owner. The other one, I just got 2 calls and I never received the photos, that's why I asked you on more than one occasion.
Okay, so we reschedule that.
I would suggest we just reschedule that. So
Okay.
next, hope they show up. Then the
So then, final one would be,
Dangerous dog in for 2 dogs named Doki and Luna at 490. 49 Gerard Avenue.
you guys do the plan.
No.
Are you the owners of the plan?
We don't own it.
You're all the owners. Yes. And the same woman who didn't show up last time didn't show up. this time.
I
she could
suggest we just.
Motion.
What was?
The last year we voted to dismiss it, well,
Last hearing, this was dismissed. And then they got a second hearing because she showed up at the clerk's office after the meeting.
So we gave her a second bite at the apple and she's.
Yes.
Motion to dismiss.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys coming down, being so patient the second time.
You got some fast pass next.
there are no more items on the agenda for this morning. The time is now 11:50 a.m.